Welcome back to the workshop, Handyman. We're working on another project today. This one's going to be a Dewalt 27cc 2-cycle. I guess this would be a pole saw. It has the interchangeable head, so I don't know if there's really a whole lot of difference between this one, except for it came with this attachment. So you're able to use this as a weed eater, pole saw, whichever one, with a pretty much universal startup on it. This particular unit looks brand spanking new, and it's only been used, I guess, a couple of months. Probably don't have an hour's worth of time on it. And it stopped working, they said. So I think it probably would still fall under a warranty for Dewalt, but the customer didn't really want to fool around with Dewalt. So they say that they've checked out a little something, and it says that it's on here that it's doesn't run no spark. So I don't know what that means. So I think what we'll start out with, seems how it said somebody has determined it wasn't showing a spark. We'll go ahead and hook up my tester and see if we can see a spark across here as the first check, I guess, because that's making the most logical sense. And for that we'll need one of these little instruments here. And we simply plug that into that. And you can do this the old-fashioned way of holding on to the spark plug and grounding yourself out and see if that helps. But I never did like that feeling too much. Well, let's see. We plug it up like that, and we'll pull it over and see if we... I don't see much spark at all. I don't really feel much compression either. Maybe enough, but it definitely is not that. The switch is not, it's a spring-loaded kill switch, and that don't feel bad. But there's definitely, feels a little strange, but definitely no spark. So we'll have to dig into it and see, I guess, whether we've got a switch that's shorted out, causing the coil not to fire, or if something's happened down inside of there. So let's go ahead and start tearing it apart and see what we can find. Okay, I've not taken one of these apart before, but I think it looks like we're going to just go ahead and take out the screws here, split this apart, take this off, and I think everything coil related and the wires are going down in through there to figure out if we can disconnect that and see if that coil's shorted out or just what's going on, not give us a spark. We'll probably, knowing this, we'll have to probably take out the other side here also, and we'll kind of do all that off camera, I think, because I'm going to be experimenting a little bit, and I'll just let you know what I did. A little easier than you just getting bored with me trying to operate a screwdriver. So we'll let you know how we make out when we get it all tore apart. Okay, we have got this thing tore apart. It primarily had several bolts on this side of it, and that allowed this whole system to come off of there. A little fan dangling around. We got us down into the coil, and I've done a couple of quick checks with it, thinking that maybe this basically shorts this out. All that does is goes up, hits the switch, comes back, and it grounds it out so that you don't provide a spark, which keeps your motor from running. So what I did is disconnected all that to make sure that that was not interfering with it. There was no shorts or anything that's causing it to ground out completely. I double checked my spark. Nothing's there with my little spark checker. So I went to look for a part for this, and I cannot find that particular part anyplace for inexpensive amount. So I did have a few old pieces of equipment laying around. As you see down here, we grabbed up those to see. Most of these are like MTD and that. They all have about the same darn thing in them. So I'm going to go ahead and test that theory. Just really for my own personal checking out. We'll just set that plug back in place for a minute. I'm going to go ahead. I've taken the coil off of another piece of equipment. Like I say, and we've got that here, and it really matches up pretty darn, well, it goes this direction, close to what we have right there. So I think we're going to go ahead and swap that out and see if that will give us the ability to fire this thing off or not. So we're going to give it a shot. If it works, we've saved a piece of equipment. If not, well, we're not out anything. So this is just going to be a matter of taking these 2 screws out. That'll pull this off, unplug the wires, plug them back into this one, and then we'll set the gap between the magnet on the flywheel to that. So let's go ahead and start on that. See what size these are. All right, so it's just 2 screws. I think you got that. And we can get it off that magnet. It comes apart a lot easier. And once we do that, we can take these 2 wires off of this coil. Set that aside. And we're going to take the new coil, set it down here, and see if it's going to match up, which I think it will. And there's that one, and run this right around to this side. Like I say, it's just a matter of swapping it out. Pay attention to how you come apart. You shouldn't have any problem putting it back together. So we're going to go ahead and slide that in there. Tighten it back down. And let's see here. I think that's all we needed on that one. We don't want to snug that completely yet. We've got to set our gap. There is a dimension that you use on that, and usually what they call that is business card thickness. So what I do is I take a business card out, and you lay your business card right in here, and you turn this around, and that magnet will pull it right up against it right where it belongs. And then all you have to do is tighten your screws down. And plug that back up. And pull our business card out. We'll put that back away for a future project. Give away to another customer. And now we've got to, we'll pull this thing around here a little bit. I just want to see if we're going to get a spark off of it. So we'll take our spark plug. I thought I had that hooked up. Where did I put it at? Did it fall down in there? Well, where did my plug go? I hate it when I lose it. There it is. There we go. It was buried in there. I thought I had it started better than that. Let me go ahead and snug that down just a little bit. We'll throw our spark tester back on here. And now if it's dark enough in here so that I can actually see if it's sparking, let's see if we can, I don't know if I can, I can't see it well enough. I'm needing to shut the lights off. So let me do that and see if we got a spark. Okay, we've got the lights off now, and let's see if we can get a spark out of it this way. I don't really want to touch anything too much. I don't know if you can see that on there or not, but yes, there is a spark there. There's a little bit of an orange flash right there. So that should help us out. We're going to go ahead and put it back together, and we'll see if this thing allows it to run. So let me swing it around there, get the lights back on, and see if we can put this back together without too much efforts anyway. So we'll unplug that. This will be plugged back up. Hang that out of the way a minute. Okay, so let's see here. We've got to take this. Once you get it all the way apart, this thing will slide back in there. Make sure you're kind of hooked up there, I think. And that should slide back up in. These things sometimes, the little square that goes back up into your shaft, you have to kind of spin this around a little bit sometimes just to get it to line back up. I think you can also do it from this end if you had something to spin it with, but it will slide back up in there eventually. And of course all the parts and pieces are laying everywhere, so let's spin that just a little bit. That's pretty freewheeling, so. go. All right. Now we can take this and we'll put all the little screws back in it. Line my gas tank back up. It should be here, and we're good to go. We'll have this back together, and let's see if she'll fire on up. It'll be a good little project. So I don't know if we need to have all this or not. Maybe can fast forward through it. I'll let the camera keep running. Back half on, and now we'll do the front half, which I really don't know as though I had to take off, but I had taken it off, so we'll go ahead and just put it back on. There's a few of these screws definitely had to come off. The plastic ones get the bigger threads. All right. Well, let's see, it's got gas, it's got that. Let's pump her 10 times. Let's see, for priming purposes. And then we go choke it to A and pull it over. And we go to B. That's, still don't act like it really. Did I ever tighten that up all the way? Okay, let's make sure we're still getting a spark. Okay, everything. And we've choked it, we've primed it a couple more times, and we'll go ahead and see if we can round her up. Put the head back on it, but it looks like it's going to run, so we're going to call that a good project, I think. So old coil. I'm going to see if I can find me a replacement for this thing. I wish there was a number or something on there. Might have to do a little bit more research, see if we can find that. I'd really rather put a brand new one on there, but looks like the old one's going to work, so we'll call that a good project anyways for now, and we'll get it back to the customer, and that's better than not running. So I think we accomplished it. On with the next project. Appreciate you checking out the channel. Thank you always again for subscribing, hitting that like button, and any comments are always welcome. Thanks again.